people associate my voice with sadness, and I think that's going to be
beautiful.
I think people just hear my voice and they're like, "Oh, sad little girl, sad little creature."
Amber, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me back again.
So when did you realize my comeback has to be a lesbian Brokeback Mountain?
It's fun. I was actually talking about this today, that the fact that we're calling it a comeback is so funny, because for me it's felt like 2 minutes, but it's actually been like several years. That idea with the horse video is kind of like the person in the video, Katie. She is a stunt rider, and we grew up together, and she was like one of my first girlfriends. And classic, she's like now one of my best friends. But we kind of dreamt that idea up when we were like teenagers, like when we were like 17 or something. So it's kind of just this whole thing of me being a musician has just been a ploy to finally be able to make a music video with her and me riding away on the distance in a horse. Don't really know what I'm going to do now. There was a long phase where I wasn't making music. I was sort of making music, but actually I was just probably like staring at my screen doing absolutely nothing, like a lot of people were in like the beginning of the lockdown. So within the time frame of the first album and the second album, I have moved to Margate, moved back to London from Margate, had a relationship, ended a relationship, got a dog, another dog, and then I sort of had this like crazy period of 6 months where I just got everything done. But most of that time was not me making music, it was kind of just me like thinking about making music, and then the actual most of the music making happened really quickly.
And could you explain to me, like, what was that first thought or first sound that you had for this song? The first sound that I had, I'd kind of done this demo that was really stripped back. It was kind of just, in fact, I haven't even listened to that demo since I first sent it to Chloe. Chloe's who helped produce the album. And I kind of brought that song in this kind of middle flow of doing the album, and we kind of had like 100 different versions of it. Like we tried stripping it back, like making it sound kind of like country, like Fleetwood Mac kind of country vibes, and then we were like, okay, let's make it really electronic. And Chloe had this like synth thing that she made the do 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 kind of keys sound. And then I was like, we were obsessed with that. And then we kind of just like blended it all together. For me, it sounds like, wait, actually someone wrote something about it recently that really made me laugh. It was like, it's like somewhere between the back porch and the club or something like that. Oh yeah.
I thought that was really good. I was like, yeah. One of the ideas was like to make all the instruments like really super organic and like not have any like electronic element to it whatsoever, because I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of bored of that. And then the other idea was like, no, let's go super electronic, let's go super pop. And I think with the album we did kind of just like meet in the middle. Like there's so many like live instrument recordings on it, but like I don't think I'm kind of losing that. It doesn't sound like a live band or anything. It still sounds quite like electronic in parts.
Yeah,
which is my favorite.
I heard you talk about the song on BBC Radio 1, where you were explaining a little bit more about the story behind Boyhood. And to me, it felt like something that was, with you, inside you for a long time, because you were referring to like growing up, being young and missing a boyhood. When did you realize that you were like missing some kind of representation or a boyhood, so to say? I
think over the past few years, like I have just been thinking about gender a lot and like where I kind of lie within the spectrum. I mean, I've always felt really different from my friends who identify as women. Like, I just have always like, I always used to describe it as being like, I just feel like a different breed of girl. Like, I just don't feel like the same kind of vibe. But my vibes are just different. But previously I've not like even really thought or cared about why that is, but I think obviously like we have so much language now to use when it comes to gender, and like words exist and definitions exist that didn't exist before, and so it's like always interesting to try and see which things like apply to yourself, because obviously if you understand yourself more by exploring different definitions of yourself, like you can understand yourself more, and then you kind of feel more. It doesn't mean you haven't an answer, but you might have a great understanding of yourself. Like I still don't know what I identify as. Maybe genderqueer, I don't know, or gender fluid, I don't know. But then I don't know if I identify as non-binary. It's such an interesting thing to think about, because there is like no direct answer, at least now. And I do often think about, because when I was a kid, I was pretty certain I wanted to be a boy when I was a kid. Like I remember when I found out that you could get gender reassignment surgery, I remember like crying with relief. Like I was so like excited at that idea. And now like I don't know why, if I've changed because I've been suppressing, or like my environment feels more accepting of who I am, so I don't feel the need to change. I don't know. But like now I don't like necessarily have any desire to do that I think, I don't know. Yeah. But when I was a kid, I was like really, really staunchly like I just really wanted to be a boy. And it was like a lot of pain to like feel like I was constantly in like the wrong body, and I don't know. So it's interesting. It's interesting to think about how I would have felt, what I would have been doing if I'd have still felt that the same amount of pain, if maybe like the gender roles weren't so black and white.
Because that was what I was going to ask you. Like, could you remember a situation or maybe some kind of realization point? Because for me, if I refer to like going to school as a kid, there was always this thing that, the girls were allowed to play inside and the boys could go play soccer outside. And that's what I wanted to do, for example.
Yeah, so actually football is like the main thing that I was obsessed with football. Like I think I would have wanted to be a football player. I was really good as well. I was a really good football player. And then I kind of just like, I remember there was like a point where my mum, I think, felt some weird feelings about me playing football. She thought it meant certain things about my gender, or I don't know. And I remember like suddenly like not really being, like it not being the vibe that I was allowed to play football all the time. Or like it was one of those things that was used as like a punishment, like, oh, if you're naughty, like you're not allowed to play football or whatever. And then suddenly I just remember feeling all this shame about being like a tomboy, as it was called back then. And suddenly I was like, how do I rectify this? Okay, I'm going to ask for a Barbie and I'm going to make myself become obsessed with pink.
Yeah, and just like just forcing yourself.
Yeah, I was just like, that will make them happy kind of vibe. And I remember literally being like, I'm going to ask for a Barbie because it's going to make my mum think I'm so girly, which is crazy. But and also my mum is not like she's not like a super right wing. Like she's a really liberal person. Like it was just, that's the way that everyone felt back then, I think. but yeah, like football was definitely a thing. Also, just like all my friends are boys because I wanted to do things that the boys were doing, like playing around in the mud, or like I don't know, I hate the word lady, and I hate like because it has connotations of like being ladylike, and that was like something that would often be said, like, well, don't play in the mud because it's not very ladylike. Like, don't, I don't know, eat really fast because it's not ladylike, and it's like, well,
don't be that loud, just be ladylike.
Yeah. I always think like, are my questions around my own gender, like, am I considering that I'm not a woman because actually deep down I have some like deep rooted sexism that I associate being a woman and femininity or whatever with things that annoy me. So is it that, or is it like that for me I genuinely am like nowhere near that one, like being a woman on the gender spectrum, like, and I really do feel like I'm in the middle. I don't really know, like it's kind of the chicken or the egg situation of like what caused what, I don't know, but it's interesting.
And what has been a moment, or maybe a song you heard, or a clip, a movie you saw, that because you were telling in an interview as well, like you grew up with not hearing women or non-men people singing about her and singing about other women, so to say. What has been like the first song or clip you thought, this is it?
Song? Oh, I don't know. I remember finding out that there's an artist called I Blame Coco when I was growing up, someone called Elliot Sumner. And that kind of like changed a lot of things for me because I just thought they're the coolest person ever in the world. And so did all my friends. And the straight friends, the friends that would maybe be like, ew, being gay is gross, would still think that this person was like the coolest person alive. And so suddenly just made me think about being queer as something that was like kind of cool to be and something that I wanted to have. But like, I guess I'm trying to think of the first song I heard with same-sex pronouns.
It's a tough question, right?
Maybe even like Marika Hackman, maybe one of her songs. Like, yeah, I think it was probably, I feel like Marika and I started when we were together, and I think she was released albums like way before I did, but I feel like she probably started doing it, and I probably started going, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that, like put she in my song. I remember maybe it was like the song Boyfriend, that was kind of iconic. Or like Muna, for example, like that was kind of, and then it's like as soon as people start to do it, then it becomes like a cool thing to do, and everyone starts doing it, which is great, I think. Because
2023 is super gay in terms of like, as you refer to Muna or the Boy Genius record or the Rummy singles, as she explained. What?
Yeah, it's so gay.
That's just what I want. The lyrics in that song are actually very vague. Like, they're not necessarily like specific personal lyrics in any way. Like, there are bits in it that have personal meaning that you would never really know, and that like reference specific parts of my life that only like me and that other person that experienced it would know about, really. But like the lyric, I should have jumped when you told me to, that is like about an argument I had with my ex-girlfriend, where I remember just saying, like, we're in the argument, I was just like, this isn't a situation where like you tell me jump and I say how high. And then she was like, I can't remember what she said. And then when I was feeling bad about the argument, I was just like, oh, I should have just jumped. I don't know. And I often had that feeling of being like, oh, you feel so strongly about something in the moment, but then afterwards you're like, oh, just do it, like, just jump. I don't know. I guess it's really what that's talking about is guilt. But yeah, like with the Boyhood like song, like my kind of vague explanation of it and like vague lyrics, like I almost feel like that's maybe people find it easier to connect to because they can kind of assign anything to it, really. I mean, I think it has very gay shame vibes, but I don't know.
It's featured in several playlists, of course, and I was wondering if you should label it as one of them, which would you pick? Because we have deep dark indie love songs, Barefoot in the Park, the most gut-wrenching, choke-sobbing, heartbreaking playlist, or Sad Girl Starter Pack. What would you choose?
I've seen that Sad Girl Starter Pack one. What would I choose?
Are you still a sad girl about the song, or is it like reflecting?
I think that song musically is a really happy song. Like I know it has like the whole vibe of being like ouch, but like I think it's kind of like if you
can dance to it, right?
And like it has like I don't know, it has like a fun beat or whatever. Like that. Yeah, like I don't, and like the guitar lines in it are like, it's kind of like euphoric in a way. Like it's like a chord sequence that's building and building. I think that people associate my voice with sadness, and I think that's gonna be
beautiful.
I think people just hear my voice and they're like, "Oh, sad little girl, sad little creature." So I could be singing about anything and still be like, ow, and I'd be like,
and still ending up in Sad Girl Starter Pack.
That's what's going to be interesting about the next album is that like I finally start writing songs, but because usually it's like, oh, I just wait till I'm in a state of emotional crisis to start writing songs again. I'm like writing songs when I'm like really, really, really happy. So that would be interesting to see if people still read it as happiness or if like I still in the Sad Girl Starter Pack.
What would you say? How is the album going to sound like? Super happy or?
Which one?
Your hopefully new record, if there's going to be a record. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it, so please just let me know.
I think I said on the radio that it's part of an album, like that. Yeah, we can like it's the Boyhood is like part of an album. I can't just say the title or anything. But yeah, it's part of an album, and the entire album, like I think sounds. Even though like Marika said it well, I'm not going to say it as well as she said it now, but she listened to it and she was like, it's like surprisingly light and like easy to listen to considering the subject matter. And some of it is so sad, makes me just not be able to function. Like there's one song in particular that is just the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Are you going to perform it or are you just going to?
The album or the song?
No, the song that makes you super sad.
Oh,
do you feel like you're going to play it?
I will perform it. Yeah, okay. I will. I mean, that's the sad and kind of useful thing about playing stuff live is that like, after you've played it like 20 times, it's kind of just like, there'll be times where you really feel it, but like most of the time you're just thinking about, I don't know, where are you going to go for dinner after?
And that's awesome.
Yeah, and that is the romance of being a pop star. But then there are times where like you can't like exert that kind of emotion every single time. It's too crazy, too exhausting. So there'll be like special performances where it's like, oh, that one I really felt. Yeah, I'll play that one live, I think. We'll have to see. It's very quiet, so it depends. Depends on the environment. I don't think I'll be playing it at like the Finsbury Park show. I saw myself an intellectual. I thought that I was capable. Every move was just a bit. And in the meantime, could you please could you continue with sending great tweets, please? Because I really loved your account, and I saw you were also looking like. I think that's an old account where you were asking people for a login to stream the L Word Gen Q. Oh my God. Yeah, that's kind of all I was using Twitter for, to just ask for streaming links. I'm just so bad at doing anything for like that long. Like I'll have like a phase of being like, oh, Twitter's fun, and then like may or may not have had some help with help from someone in writing those tweets, but like then I just get so bored of it so quickly. Like I'm not really addicted to like the posting side of social media. Like I couldn't care less about that. I'm more addicted to like videos of dogs kind of vibe.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll try and bring back my Twitter. I really need to get good at just like doing it. I just get so like distracted from everything. Have you watched the Generation Q? Have you watched the finale?
I've watched like season 1, 2, and then 3 was not like legally available in the Netherlands.
Okay.
So I didn't saw like. Did you saw the musical episodes?
Musical episodes? What?
There are like 3 seasons of Gen Q.
Oh yeah. There are some musical episodes. There's one musical episode. There's one.
I didn't dare to watch it because I thought I was going to cringe to death.
It was, I mean, I love that show so much because it's just like, some of it is so bad. But like, I don't know, but it's still like one of the only things that we have to watch. It's like, I don't know. And I think they haven't taken up another season. So it's just like, well, what are we going to watch now?
Yeah,
there's no lesbian stuff. Like I really just want a show about lesbians that references lesbian or queer themes. Like I just want that to be a thing. Like it makes me so happy to watch things about lesbians.
Yeah.
All about that whole range of vibe. But like now there's no more L Generation Q. Like what am I gonna watch? That film about the fossils?
Oh, sorry, what did you say?
That film about the fossils, like with what's her name in it?
Ammonites.
Yeah, like.
And their hands are dirty all the time. I couldn't watch it. So disgusting. But I watched it, of course. And I watched Tar. I went to Tar and I was obsessed with all the outfits that Kate wore in that movie.
Yeah. I actually watched half of it on a plane. I fell asleep and need to watch the other half.
Yeah.
I just also really love, what are they called? Kate Menig and Alicia Haley. Alice
Their
and
Pants podcast.
So what?
Yeah, the podcast. Yeah.
It so much. Like it's so, like I don't know what they're talking about half the time, but I just listen to it all the time, and I just really love them.
Yeah. It feels like still standing the L word. Like whatever happens, like we still want the L word.
Exactly. Like in the L word, like in the L word Generation Q, all the characters, the new characters, like I'm just not interested in. Like I just want Alice, Bet, and Shane. Tina can come in and out to just be hanging out. Just be hanging out and like laughing together. Like it makes me so happy when they're just vibing with each other. But
yeah, I want to just sitting in a planet, just gossiping a little bit. Just,
I don't really even need a storyline. I just need that to watch them all like interact. And then whenever the new characters come in, I'm just like, oh, I don't care about you guys.
You did good. We did. Look at my jeans.
Oh, hi. Shots.
Oh, yeah.
All right, come on. Come on, celebrate with me.
What, are you pregnant?
Listen. Come on.
Okay, ready?
Listen, I love you both. Thank you.
Crazy. Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, that's so gross. Should we get another one?